CTV Edmonton. Local breaking news with Evan Kenny.
It looked like a multi-story building coming down. It was just a blur from there. I just got up and I ran.
Banff disaster. Another death is confirmed in a deadly rock slide at Bow Glacier Falls. Good evening. A second person has been confirmed dead in a rock slide at Bow Glacier Falls in Banff National Park. The first victim has been identified as a 70-year-old woman who was a former educator at the University of Alberta. Parks Canada says there are no other people missing after using dog teams, aerial and infrared searching over the past day and a half. Parks Canada says this was a natural rock slide that was not predictable or preventable. Bow Glacier Falls is about 40 kilometers or half an hour north of Lake Louise. This was the moment the rock slide happened yesterday afternoon. It was caught on video by hikers who said they had arrived at the site just moments before. Parks Canada does not have an exact size of the rock slide, but says one of this scope is rare for the mountains, adding difficulty to the rescue.
The debris was incredibly unstable, and there were still parts of the cliff that were concerning. So really looking at minimizing responder exposure, but looking very carefully for any other individuals.
Roughly 100 emergency personnel were involved in the response. 13 people were evacuated by helicopter. 3 hikers were brought by STARS and ambulance to the hospital. All 3 are now in stable condition. CTV's Tim Brook has more from the people who managed to get out before the slide.
Officials say it was a freak accident.
Sadly, this extremely rare event appears to have been neither preventable nor predictable. The scope and size of this rock fall is extremely rare for the mountain environment.
On Thursday, 18 people were at the falls when the rock fell.
We could see that there were 4 individuals on the debris, and there were bystanders caring for them. We estimate it was around 11 bystanders that may have had some minor injuries.
There was one more person buried under the rock and only discovered after search and rescue dogs caught a scent. By Friday morning, the military moved in.
5 a.m., Canada Task Force 2 began infrared drone flights through their partners in the Calgary Police Service, followed by investigative action at the site with a Zystios thermal imaging camera. Visitor safety specialists recovered the remaining deceased individual from the site.
3 others were taken out by air and ground ambulance and are, as of the last update, in hospital in stable condition. The extent of their injuries is unknown. The 100-person rescue effort is now over, and no one else is believed to be missing. Tim Brook, CTV News, Calgary.
Police are on scene of a serious collision along Highway 60 just east of Devon. Traffic in both directions is being redirected while emergency crews are on scene. Alberta Health Services is warning people about a measles exposure at the Stollery Hospital on Wednesday. And for the first time since early May, Edmonton has recorded another case of measles. The Edmonton case is one of 24 new cases across the province. Edmonton has now seen a total of 7 cases. The provincial total has now surpassed 1,000 since March. The province says there has been 20 confirmed cases of measles in pregnant people. As of last week, there had been fewer than 5 cases of congenital measles. That's when a baby contracts the illness from their mother during pregnancy. The province says in each case, the mother was unvaccinated. A man involved in a deadly break-in at a home on New Year's Day 2023 will spend more than a decade in prison. As CTV's Amanda Anderson reports, it was a case of mistaken identity that left a father dead and one of his daughters injured.
A Toronto man was before a judge in Edmonton today, accused of first-degree murder. In an agreed statement of facts, the court heard Tavon Orr and an accomplice broke down the front door of this home on January 1st, 2023. Both were armed with loaded handguns. According to the facts, it was the accomplice who fired 2 shots at Barinder Singh, who later died. Singh's wife and daughters tried to hide. The court heard the accomplice fired 3 more shots when they got inside, and one of the bullets hit the daughter who was hiding in the bathroom. Orr was also hit. His DNA found on a bullet recovered from the scene. Police say it was a case of mistaken identity. Orr pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of manslaughter with a weapon.
The Crown needed to prove party liability for Mr. Orr because he was not the person who fired the gun, as well as then his ultimate sentence.
The court also heard from Singh's family. Often through tears, they described him as a happy-go-lucky person and how their lives have changed since his death. His oldest daughter saying no matter how old they are, they still need their dad. His wife became very emotional at times as she spoke about the emotional and financial toll Orr has caused them. As victim impact statements were read by Singh's wife and daughters, Orr rarely looked up from the prisoner's box. He did later say he was sorry when given a chance to address the court. An apology, the family tells me, they do not accept. They believe it was just an attempt for leniency from the justice. The judge accepted a joint sentence submission made by the Crown and Defence of 11 years in prison.
And you consider that the minimum sentence for murder in the second degree is a 10-year minimum parole eligibility. Mr. Orr's sentence at 11 years reflects the seriousness of what happened to this family.
The justice told Orr she hopes his injury serves as a reminder of the injury he caused the young woman and her family. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
An Edmonton police officer charged with excessive force has been found not guilty. Constable Alexander Doddick was investigated by Alberta's Serious Response Team after allegedly using a baton during an arrest in 2019 and breaking a man's nose. Doddick was found not guilty last week. EPS says Doddick is back on duty in a non-operational role. People who live in the South Edmonton neighborhood where a man was killed this week say they're shocked by what happened. Police say a 65-year-old man was found dead in a garage Wednesday afternoon. They've arrested a 27-year-old man who did not know the victim, according to police. He's been charged with second-degree murder. A worker at a nearby job site says he witnessed the arrest. He told CTV News the suspect was wearing work clothes and he looked upset but wasn't trying to leave.
He wasn't running or anything. He wasn't even in handcuffs at start. He was just talking to him, and then they put him in handcuffs, and then everyone else rolled up. But it wasn't crazy at all.
I was shocked. That's all I have to say, yeah, really.
The victim has been identified as Sugang Periano. Police say he died by blunt force trauma. More than $12 million worth of illegal cigarettes and cigars has been seized in Edmonton. Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis says the seizures happened across 2 separate investigations. In total, nearly 67,000 cartons of cigarettes and cigars and more than 150 grams of shisha were found. Criminal charges are pending in both cases. The AGLC says provincial tax avoidance tops more than $4 million. It also says illegally manufactured products also pose health risks as they lack regulatory controls. The UCP government has released data from its survey about age-appropriate materials in school. The province launched the survey after it found a handful of books in Alberta K-12 schools it decided were inappropriate. Online survey data shows answers to some of the questions, including at what age should children be able to access materials with sexually explicit content in school libraries. 34% of respondents said never, 23% said high school, 22% said middle school, and 14% said elementary school. 17% said all ages. The province says it will be using the findings to develop a province-wide standards. Some Albertans will start to see the effect of Alberta's new personal income tax rate next month. The province says changes are coming to the paychecks of more than 2 million Albertans on July 1st. In January, the Alberta government introduced a new personal income tax bracket of 8% on the first $60,000 of income. That's down from the previous 10%. The province says some Albertans could save up to $750 in 2025. Finance Minister Nate Horner says this is how his government keeps Alberta the most affordable place in Canada to live, work, and raise a family. The province is spending $27 million to more than double the number of collegiate schools in Alberta. Collegiate schools offer specialized programming in areas like science, aviation, agriculture, and the trades. The province says it will open 16 new schools and provide upgrades to 4. Most of the brand new collegiates are in central and northern Alberta, including several in the Edmonton area. Most of the facility upgrades will be in southern Alberta collegiates.
With this expansion, we're not just building schools, we're building bridges between education and employment and creating new pathways for success across Alberta.
There are currently 12 collegiate schools operating in the province. More lane reductions are coming to a portion of the Yellowhead as crews work to convert the roadway to a freeway. Starting tomorrow, restrictions between St. Albert Trail and 121st Street will extend east to 97th Street with 2 lanes in each direction. The city says it will last until construction is complete in 2027. A 50-kilometer-an-hour speed limit is being enforced in the construction zone. The province got a head start on celebrating National Indigenous Peoples Day. The celebration at the Royal Alberta Museum included reflection from Mr. Rajan Sauni. There was also traditional music, storytelling, and dancing. Chase Morley was 5 years old when he started dancing and feels it's important to share his heritage.
There's kids probably out there that want to dance as well, you know? So getting them in connection to, you don't know what kid out there has been disconnected from his culture. So this is a good connection.
National Indigenous Peoples Day is tomorrow. Rock climbers from across North America are spending the weekend high above Edmonton's river valley. CTV's Merrick DeCash reports on a competition being held for the first time in our city.
Hannah Brain is one of 75 climbers competing in the North American Cup.
It was a really cool climb. There's like a bunch of technical things and some heel hooks. A lot of the holds are pretty good, better than I expected. And the last move was fun to jump.
Last year, she competed in the Youth World Championships in China. With 8 years of experience under her belt, the American climber decided to enter her first competition north of the border.
I really liked it being outside and the walls like overhang, and I really always liked that. And it was right by the river, so it was really cool.
This is the first time Edmonton has hosted the North American Cup.
It's similar to a World Cup competition. It's for athletes across North America to compete in competitive rock climbing.
Organizer Adam Lusick says the goal of the event is to get more people excited about and involved in the sport. Climb YEG is hosting a variety of activities throughout the weekend, including personal climbing demos.
There's fun climbing skills competitions for someone with no experience. There's a community competition for people with some experience and they want to try the wall behind me. They can register.
In a highly competitive field, Calgary's Joel Neufeld is looking to stand out among the pack.
Oh, it's awesome just to see all the different levels of athletes across North America. Just like, people are so good and just inspiring to watch.
The action continues Saturday with finals on Sunday. Merrick DeCash, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta Circus Arts Festival is in full swing in Edmonton's French Quarter. Over 4 days, the event will showcase everything from gravity-defying acrobatics to poetic physical theater. A producer says this is the first year the festival is bringing in international talent.
We've got a great audience that's supported us throughout these last few years and really wanted to see Circus in a different level. And it also means that we've been recognized by the Circus community elsewhere to really get shows here.
Along with ticketed shows, there are free events like juggling and stilt workshops. The festival runs through Sunday. Coming up next, Chris Knobloch reacts to his doppelganger. Also just ahead, the list of the Oilers' priorities for this offseason.
I think up front we need some different players.
Good evening, folks. A cooler than average first weekend of summer with temperatures in the mid to upper teens for daytime highs tomorrow and Sunday. A little gusty tomorrow as well. It will not be anywhere near as wet this weekend, though, as southern and western parts of the province. We'll get into all that in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The Oilers' general manager will have his work cut out for him this offseason. Stan Bowman's biggest priority will be signing several players, including his captain. During his year-end interview, he also touched on the future of head coach Chris Knobloch. CTV's Naraman Issa has more.
It's hard to, in the moment, reflect upon how great a season it was.
Stan Bowman's first year as general manager saw his club go to the Stanley Cup final. He has a better idea now about what he has to do to bulk up his roster.
The area with probably the least amount of change will be the defense. I think up front we need some different players.
Goaltending was a contentious issue in the postseason, with the starter often being a game day decision.
I don't want to single the goaltending out. I think it's just something that we're going to look at and investigate what's the best path moving forward for our team.
Bowman says his biggest priority is getting Connor McDavid signed to an extension this summer. The captain will be a free agent next season, able to sign with any team if he doesn't sign with Edmonton.
Certainly, we're eager to meet with him whenever he wants, but also understanding that he just went through a very, tough ending to the season. And so timing-wise, Connor's going to drive that process.
Head coach Chris Knobloch has back-to-back cup appearances in the 2 seasons he's been here. Today, he got a public stamp of approval from his boss.
Chris is going to be the coach here for a while, and I enjoy working with him, and I think we're lucky to have him.
Knobloch says he wants to be here long-term.
It's pretty ideal for me here, and hopefully we can continue what we've done and build off of it, because I don't think there'd be anything better than to win it all in a place like this.
The two will work together to ice a winning lineup for the upcoming season, hoping third time's a charm in winning the cup. Naraman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
A Sherwood Park man says his life has changed since the Oilers hired Chris Knobloch. That's because the Oilers bench boss is his doppelganger. Matt Ziprick is a pastor in Sherwood Park. He was told he looked like Knobloch, and soon enough, many others noticed. Ziprick says he gets stopped out in public. People have asked for a picture, with many thinking he's the actual Oilers coach. Now he's becoming somewhat of a star himself.
Lately, it's been people do recognize me as the look-alike, so the actual mistakes have stopped a little bit. I do feel like I've let a few people down just by not being Chris, and so that's been kind of funny too.
The head coach was asked about his doppelganger today.
I don't know if you saw that look-alike pastor and any thought?
I did. Outstanding. He was so handsome, almost Brad Pitt.
Ziprick says his popularity has grown so much that someone he doesn't know reached out and asked if he would officiate their wedding. The Tom Cochrane and Burton Cummings concert scheduled for tomorrow at Fan Park has been postponed. The concert has been moved to September 1st. The Oilers Entertainment Group isn't saying why the concert had to be rescheduled. Previously purchased tickets will be honored for the new date. Refunds will also be available at the point of purchase. And the Bowmont Music Festival is kicking off with some high-energy acts. Tonight's acts included festival circuit regulars 5 Alarm Funk and Juno nominee Jeremy Fisher, before headliners Blackie and the Rodeo Kings finished things off. The festival starts up again tomorrow morning at 11. Still ahead, from art to heart, how a pair of artists working together became something much more.
I mean, it kind of feels like magic sometimes.
And it's been a wet last few days. Josh Clausen will tell us after the break when and where you can expect to see the rain this weekend.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. Right around average today. Temperatures started the day in the 10-degree range. Got to about 21 through this afternoon. Then we had some late-day showers and thunderstorms rolling through. There is a ton of rain on the way over the next 24 to 36 hours for parts of western and specifically southern Alberta as this low-pressure system dumps 50 to 100 millimeters of rain on areas south of Red Deer and in through the foothills of mountain parks. It's not just rain. You have some wet snow. In fact, maybe even some accumulating snow at higher elevations in through the southern parts of the mountain parks and along parts of the Icefields Parkway. 50 to 100 is a general estimate for southern Alberta, but there are parts of southwestern Alberta that could see over 100 millimeters of rain. Tomorrow is going to be a drier day here in Edmonton. We'll see some cloudy skies through the morning, but some clearing in the afternoon, a couple scattered showers, maybe a few isolated thunderstorms off to the west. Sunday, sunny with a few clouds. You see that twist right there? There's your low pressure system, and that will spin some showers and thunderstorms through northern Alberta, especially northwestern Alberta Sunday afternoon, and possibly into the Edmonton area Sunday night. So most of the weekend looks dry, but it may come to an end with some thunderstorms. 6 degrees in Fort McMurray, 8 in Grand Prairie and Red Deer, 11 degrees in Edmonton tomorrow morning. Your daytime highs tomorrow should be in the mid to upper teens across the northeast as that cooler air sinks in. 19 in Grand Prairie. It's about as warm as it's going to get anywhere in the province. Mid-teens for Jasper, Red Deer, Lloydminster. Red Deer, you're out of the rain, it looks like, by about lunchtime tomorrow. Just cloudy skies through the afternoon. Here in Edmonton, 17 degrees, mixed sun and cloud, and breezy. Wind will be gusting to about 30 or 40 kilometers per hour. Chance of showers or thunderstorms Sunday night, but I think dry for most of the daytime hours. 18s for Sunday, Monday. So today's the summer solstice, longest day of the year, and it's not really feeling all that much like summer through the next couple of days. But there is some summertime heat set to roll in around the middle of next week. That is your forecast.
It's not out of the ordinary for artists to collaborate. However, it's not every day that collaboration ends in love. CTV's Adam Swatsky has more.
Hello, everybody. Timothy Wilson Hoey never expected to move out to the country. Hi. Let alone befriend this neighbor named Kevin.
Kevin is just a sensible name for a goat.
The first thing Timothy did in his new house was construct this wall of old things.
It's an old man museum.
A collection of stories, Timothy says, from his family's past and his friends.
In a funny way, I'm a custodian of all these things.
Then Timothy set up a new studio to create all sorts of paintings, including his iconic O Canada collection that he frames with hockey sticks.
I don't know everything about Canada, but I try.
And it was while creating this new life for himself, after ending a long-term marriage, that Timothy happened to meet fellow artist Zandra Xochitl, who was going through something similar.
Wow, I can be very real with this person, and I think we can be really good friends.
The friendship deepened quickly, thanks to authentic conversations about life and art, before one of them suggested they swap canvases and start collaborating.
And it felt like a real truth moment because you're giving something that you've made, and to have somebody like potentially destroy it.
Like opening your heart to someone, there's the risk you'll get hurt. but also a chance you'll be healed.
I mean, it was almost like couples counseling without seeing anybody, right? It was like we're working on this thing together and we're solving it.
And rather than wrecking each other's work or compromising themselves, Zandra and Timothy began co-creating something new.
For both of us, it's been really freeing that way to create work. Then we've been lucky that people have liked it.
I mean, it kind of feels like magic sometimes.
It kind of feels like falling in love, which Zandra and Timothy eventually did, which Kevin seems to approve of. And when this painting of Kevin is complete, it'll be displayed somewhere different than that wall honoring the past, because Zandra and Timothy's collaborations are celebrating their present together. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
A painting collaboration that turned into a life collab. I love that. That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for tuning in and have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.